Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Mike, you wouldn't believe the problems I'm having all of a sudden.
Literally, dude.
Yeah,
what the hell, brother?
You gotta be kidding me. Well, first of all, I haven't had trouble with I haven't had trouble with any of my lighting forever.
Yeah.
And I just literally just this morning I looked over at my on-air light and I thought, wow, I haven't had problems with that for a while. Because remember I was having issues.
Yeah.
So I came in to start the show and I started having issues with that. So I got that fixed, and then the one LED light that I have that sits directly right in front of me here, the one I think it's yours.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, the stand drops. Like the light's been in the same position for months.
Yeah.
The stand literally gave and dropped, and I'm over here trying to fix that. And good morning.
So what you're saying is your lights are acting like Watt and Hayward in the playoffs, brother, just disappointing you.
And then I'm having connect issues with one of my computers, like everything. I've never had so out of the blue.
I've been having issues, with like my cable to my camera, brother. You've been twitchy for a while. I'm glad it's you now, because you get hot at the same time. Because you get hot and heated, and it carries through the whole show, and it just makes me giggle.
It's just it's all at the same time. Like I said,
I know, right?
Literally issues that I usually get one at a time.
The fucking Cody Sola saying you hired Matt Canada as an electrician.
Almost as good. I hired you.
Oh, that's fucked up, man. You get what you pay for, man.
Let's see.
Oh, fellas. Oh, man.
All right, here we go.
We're off. We're like the Steelers' offensive running game right now. We're sputtering. We're trying, but we're sputtering.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 811. I got to be honest, Mike, we're 100 shows away from 9/11, and yesterday was just 9/11. Kind of weird.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
What the fuck is wrong with you today?
Dude, I had a nice little nap before the show. Work went great. You're having issues. Everything's coming up Vanilla Thunder over here.
Okay, so my one computer, it didn't have an internet connection, so I went and did like a couple things. Now it's saying detecting the process. The problem is I don't have internet connection. Just hook up. That's all. There's no problem. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Is that computer happen? Is it nicknamed Broderick Jones?
Yeah, it's you know what? It sits right where the left tackle would sit if I was a quarterback. It's off to my left, the farthest to my left.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to play with that all day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is 811, guys. Good morning. Welcome back. This is Steeler Friday, getting ready to head into the Steeler home opener. I know that Pittsburgh is going to be bumping on Sunday afternoon. Matter of fact, it's probably going to start very, very early on Sunday morning, which is even better. Get out, have some drinks, get ready for the big game, and welcome our Pittsburgh Steelers home to get this season started on their home side of the schedule. As I was looking at the schedule this morning when I was getting prepared for the show, Mike, I noticed that the Steelers only have one home game before their bye, which is kind of effed up because they're giving us the game in Ireland as the home game.
Yeah,
which that isn't a home game. It's literally an away game for both teams. Even if they let you wear your home jersey, it's still not a home game.
No.
So again, the Steelers kind of get the shitty end of the stick in scheduling. People argued last year they had 4 games in 10 days or 3 games, whatever it was. This year, as I said, a couple of these teams, like at least 3 teams that I've seen in the schedule this week, they're all started their season 2 games at home. Green Bay 2 games at home. So there's So what's the issue? Why does the Steelers again? This is after the bye week, so you get away week 1 with the Jets. You come home to play Seattle, then you go on a road to play New England, then you go to Ireland to play Minnesota, and then the bye week. I mean, the season's a third of the way through by the time we get a home game, but it'll play to our favor later on in the season. I guess whenever we're trying to stack wins, down the stretch, we have a bunch of home games. But it's kind of again, it's always something with the Steelers schedule. Always, every year.
Yeah, it's never favorable for the Steelers. You always notice like this is like the first time in forever we're playing Indy at home. We always play Indy on the road. We always play Kansas City on the road. There's certain teams that they never come through Pittsburgh. We always have to go there, and it's teams we struggle against on the road, historically against. It's like the NFL knows how to fuck us over on the schedule, and they can find a way to do it. We were the only team during the COVID era when our starting quarterback got COVID that they didn't move the game around. They made us play it with our backup quarterback. It's like they always find a way to add a little something extra to the Steelers.
No, you're right. I just a few things we mentioned tells you that we're not imagining this. And you're right. They made us play, I think, on a 3-day break or some crazy shit.
We were the first team to play like 2 games in an 11-day period.
Yeah,
like we had to play again. Yeah, they moved it for everyone else but the Steelers.
Yeah, and I think a couple teams actually got a break during that.
They did too. Yeah, they got extra bye weeks.
I think the Ravens.
It was the Ravens. Yeah, because they moved the game. They gave them extra days off to play us that year. Because Lamar got the vid. Big Ben gets it there. Like try Mason Rudolph out there, boys. Good luck.
All right, I think I got everything set up. I just can't touch nothing. If I touch anything, it's gonna go to shit. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is Steeler Friday. Let me jump on the board bright and early. I want to say what's up to everybody. Good morning to Cody, my man. He says, "Morning, fellas." Corey says, "What up, guys?" Corey, we got you. I got your latest art. We were going to put it up here in just a second. Richard, I do want to say good morning to you as well, sir. Always great seeing Richard on the terrible board. Cody, he said, of course, you read that one. He hired Matt Canada as an electrician. Corey says, I'm back to my Friday ritual. I wear my Steeler gear through the week, every football Sunday. I love it, man.
I love it.
Love it. Corey says, it's the cocaine. That's the problem. The cocaine's the problem, man.
Cocaine's the answer.
Cocaine,
brother.
Corey says, Ryan's computer is a Brodell Jones model. It is my left tackle. My left tackle, it's in the exact spot, guys. If I'm the quarterback, my left tackle would be this Brodell computer. Corey says, I don't know what the ambassador having a major role there. It could be packed Pittsburgh, and it probably will be. But it's still, it's not even, you know what I mean. I don't know. Cody says, I'm convinced that they are trying their hardest to give Mike Tomlin a losing season. It would be a talking piece.
Yeah. Like that would fuel ESPN and NFL the entire offseason. Where's Mike Tomlin going to go?
You're right. Vegas, what's good, brother? Always great seeing Vegas on the terrible board as well. And Vegas says Aaron is going to come back next year. We play the NFC South and AFC South. Not a bad time to play, especially if we do well this season.
Yeah.
And maybe the offensive line improves. And then we could get into the week's schedule with improvement in the offensive line and a few other areas, guys. Mike, it's almost game time again. The game last night, the Green Bay Packers, with their second home game in a row to start the season, they beat Washington 27-18. The NFL weekend has kicked off. This is week 2 here in PA. The high school will be big tonight. And then, of course, college game day tomorrow, Mike. The Pitt Panthers travel to West Virginia for the backyard brawl. And then Penn State, they host Villanova. And then that will be that'll be it for the practice games, basically, I guess you would call them in the college circuit. They'll be getting to conference teams next week. So it's starting to get exciting, guys, and on all levels. But nonetheless, the Pittsburgh Steelers are back home to kick off the season, Mike. Game 1 of 8 at home, actually. 1 of 9 as a home team when it's all said and done because of the game at Croke Park. But, guys, nonetheless, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting the Seattle Seahawks this weekend, Sunday, 1 o'clock down on the North Shore. And I gotta be honest, Mike. I'm excited about this. The guys, I think they're prepared. I think they're ready for this game. And I got to be honest with you, Mike, they have confidence in the offensive line, and the quarterback even has confidence in the left tackle. We'll get into that and a whole lot more as the show goes along. And as more issues just keep occurring in front of me, I can't believe what's going on. But let's get into it.
Yes.
All right, this is something interesting that I found like 3 years ago. This was our secondary. Cam Sutton, Levi Wallace, Akella Witherspoon, Minka Fitzpatrick, Edmonds, KZ, and Trey Norwood. That was our secondary just 3 seasons ago. This is our secondary now. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter, Deshaun Elliott, Jabril Peppers, Eccles, Juan Thornhill, and Chucky Clark.
A little bit of an upgrade.
And I thought they were trying to build this thing from the inside out, from the lines, and go outwards. But you know what? This defensive backfield is what makes me feel good about the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of the things that makes me feel good about this Pittsburgh Steelers team this year and gives me confidence that this team is going to do some good things. Again, it's just going to be a hard group to pass against, Mike. And a lot of people weren't really talking about that. They're talking about the flaws, the defensive, stopping the run issues, and also the offensive issues with the line. Mike, but one thing that's it should be a very, very strong point for this team is going to be that defensive backfield, and this is what you need in this league. It's one of the main factors of what you need because it's become such a passing league. Having a great secondary like we do, if they step up and play to their level of skills, this could be a really good secondary in a passing league, Mike. Again, a lot of times we do take it, right in the jaw whenever we play a team and they pass really well. It's hard for us. So again, the secondary vastly improved, Mike, from again just 3 years ago. Yeah. To what it is now.
It started with the draft pick of Joey Porter Jr. In the first pick of the second round, he was the cornerstone of that rebuild back there, and then going out and slowly adding people in via free agency or trade. Like Deshaun Elliott was kind of like the underrated piece of that thing of the secondary moves right there. He came in last year, sneaky guy under the radar, and helped solidify the back end. And if you're gonna have a little bit of trouble up front and getting it pass rush, it's nice to have guys in the back end who can cover guys in man and who understand zone concepts really well. And my God, you probably have the best 1-2-3 cornerback room and a really deep safety room. And you have a couple guys that can play down into the box to help the run. You got guys who are great at coverage, and then you have someone like Jalen Ramsey who can play all over the place back there. That allows that secondary to hopefully make some big splash plays this year, more than we've seen in the past few years. And I think like if we're a little bit slow getting to the quarterback this year, I think we'll have a little bit better chance in the secondary of making plays, even if we can't get to the pass rush. I think these guys can cover a whole hell of a lot better than that group we had 3 seasons ago. And even the cornerback room we had last year vastly improved. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it, man.
We should, I mean, this team is a very oddly built team if you think about it. I mean, the way that they're building, the way that they're trying to build, the way that it's turning out, the pieces that we're actually getting, it's kind of a really strange build. We have, you know, a plethora of tight ends. We have a good defensive backfield that we put together. The offensive line is shaky at best, and the defensive line, again, Mike, these were the two places they wanted to start in the new rebuilding process of the Steelers, I guess, is on the run building, if you want to call it this. And then you have a tight end room that has 15 tight ends. And then you don't have a wide receiver too. And then, so you see what I mean? This is such an oddly built team. Just at some point, hopefully everything comes together, because that's, that's what you need to happen. But at the end of the day, Mike, I think that we're better off than a lot of teams are. And that's one thing that we have to recognize and realize as a Steeler fan is we got, we have some really good pieces in place. Again, the secondary, we just talked about them. You got, let's just say, throw it out there, TJ Watt is your edge rusher, Mike. I mean, people claim that he is one of the best in the game. So, whatever your opinion of him or whatever it is not, we'd still have TJ Watt. We still have even, let's just for the sake of how the media would talk, we still have Cam Hayward, who's considered one of the best tackles. So this strong, bolstered secondary, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen. Yeah. I mean, this is
Alex Highsmith, who's still people hold it a decent regard.
Good defense. When somebody looks at this defense on paper, they should say, "Wow, this is going to be a tough game." So hopefully, we can start bringing that to the game and translating it over from paper to the field. Because again, Mike, this defense really is this close to being a top-notch defense if they perform so. Yeah. You know what I mean? Again, we could claim on paper all day long. We could wave our paper
champs.
But that never, that's not going to win you anything. They need to step up and play the game. And, as we said, eight of these 11 guys, I think anybody in the NFL would take any of them at any given minute to have on their defense. And then the other part I'm thinking of it, Mike, okay, with the offense, we know there's issues and we know that they're working on it, but the special teams is a very strong part for us too, of course, with our punter and with our field goal kicker and kicking off, obviously. The special teams is such a strong point. A little bit of work. Again, Rusty last week stopped these big returns, cut that down a little bit. And then, so we have a lot of really good things going on. And, anytime you see anybody put anything on social media about the Steelers are going to do this, they're going to be good, you always get a lot of laughy faces down at the bottom because people are just so used to hating on the Steelers. But at the end of the day, Mike, when you look at all the pieces, this is a pretty good football team. Am I saying it's one of the best? Probably not. Just because of the way the age range falls for a lot of guys and things like this, I wouldn't say that they're one of the best teams in the league. But there's no reason this team shouldn't be in the battle as the Washington Redskins are, or a team like this. Again, the Redskins went to the NFC Championship game last year. There's no reason we can't have this kind of success as the Steelers. Do I say that we're one of those top 3? We're not at the moment. I'm not saying that we're not going to be, but Mike, it just does seem that we are in that tier just lower. And again, for Washington to make the NFC Championship game, that makes me believe there's no reason that we can't do it. A lot of things come back to our quarterback. A lot of things come back to our offense. A lot of things come back to our offensive line, and they are going to work on those things, Mike. Aaron Rodgers, he says this, being asked about his offensive line, he defends his offensive line, Mike, and he shoulders the blame after Steelers allow 4 sacks. That's right. Aaron Rodgers shoulders the blame. Cam, again, can we learn something, Cam, from this guy? Yeah. The leader of the team. So he feels that they're going to be, and again, this is the guy that's going to be getting leveled. So for him to say, for one, he has to say things are looking good.
Yeah.
But for 2, you know what I mean? If he believes it, then I believe it, because again, he's the one that's getting crushed by these guys on Sunday afternoons, not me.
Yeah. And I know there was one for sure where he did step up right into Roger Jones' back, and it just allowed the defender to disengage and get the sack, and he was being pressured from the right side through McCormick and Fatanu, and unfortunately Roger Jones is the one who got credited for the sack because it's his guy who did it. When you look in the complete picture of the play, you can see why Aaron Rodgers say, "Hey, that one might be on me, brother." Going back to what you were saying about how weird the team was built, you can see the areas where they wanted to get younger and build for the future for, and it started with their offense and defensive line, and knowing like, hey, we could probably go out and get guys at wide receiver, at tight end, at DBs in the NFL that are still good players, and we can get them via free agency and get them trade. They were like, we're going to build young on the trenches and then go out and supplement talent elsewhere that we're not drafting at. So I see why, like you said, it's kind of weird how the roster's built, but it's like you focus on one area in the draft, you got to go free agency elsewhere if you don't have the depth on the team. And that's what they did. So now I'm looking for skill position players in the draft this year with a few linemen mixed in still. And then in free agency, maybe getting some veterans on the O-line and D-line if some of the younger guys didn't work out to replace talent that way, how they're building the team. But in this team, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're built to win now. Take a step back and look at what they've been doing. This team is not just built to win just now this season. They're lining the team up to be competitive and make a jump and make a run for the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, yeah, obviously
they're loading up for the future.
There are going to be guys that's going to be involved in this team this year that aren't going to be involved.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
is, this is it's an all-in year. And again, for what an all-in season is, it is an all-in season. So I guess you want to take advantage of that as much as you can. But you're right. We're both right, Mike.
Yeah.
I think it's an all-in year, and it's also the building process as well for the Steelers. One name, Mike, that I know that we swung and we missed on that I think could be such a beneficial player on this team right now. This name came up two times in the past 3 years when we were looking for pieces during the offseason. Of course, Mike, especially now that we're sitting looking in hindsight, we had we need a thumper. And as I'm watching the Commanders, I'm thinking Bobby Wagner. Remember every single time. Remember every year. And the Steelers have interest in Bobby Wagner. The Steelers should get Bobby Wagner, and we were like right there with it. Yes, this guy is the perfect middle inside linebacker, and he would be a perfect Steeler. Mike, now he's in Washington, along with a few other players that we had our eyes on at one point. They all seem to want to go to Washington for whatever reason. But Mike, this guy, he's a thumper. Bobby Wagner, even as he's starting to age, I would still take him over 85% of the linebackers out there. Mike, could you imagine if we had Bobby Wagner right now playing in the middle, what this defense could look like?
I was surprised, like Bobby Wagner. Because I know he was old, 35 years old, but he is still playing lights out football. Like when we did it, like what was it, like 2022, 2023, when he was available? Like, yeah, let's go get him. Let's maximize the last year or two. He's still playing at a high level.
He is.
It's nuts. He would fit in with this team with the AARP crowd, so it would have been nice to have gotten him. But who would have thought at 35 years old he would still be a fucking an effective tackling machine?
If you have a lot of things going on, the age sometimes doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to build your team around a guy who's aging, that's when you start to have problems. Let's say we did nothing. We brought in Aaron Rodgers and we thought, okay, this is going to be a good team. You can't build your team around an older player like that. If you're doing, I think if you do what we're doing, we might be okay. Again, we have a mixture. We are by average the oldest team in the league, and we have a nice mixture of older folks and rookies and young players. So you know what I mean? I'm interested to see how this plays out. But again, I don't think that. Again, you don't want to build around. Let's say you bring in Bobby Wagner and then hope your defense is going to be better.
Yeah,
that's not what you're going to. There's obviously going to be situations where people are going to watch film. They're going to say this is how you beat this team. But when you do it the way that we did, again, look at the high level that Jalen Ramsey played at last week. Look at the high level that Jonnu Smith and even and then Aaron and all these guys we brought in, Mike. There's nobody that I can say that I'm disappointed with. Kenneth Gainwell, all the way down the list. Everybody that we brought in, they all contributed to the win. Yeah. And I think that's the way that you would have to do that, opposed to you bring in one or two guys and hope it changes the team, which is kind of something the way that we used to kind of do things. Yeah. We like going in house. We like keeping it in house. We draft guys. We're going to bring them up. They're all going to be in house. It's Steelers. Blah 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 blah. Well, that league left us behind, Mike, and we fell because of that. But now it seems like we're playing the game. We're caught up with everybody else in the league, and I think this formula should work. Again, we were 10-7 last year. We didn't have half the team that we have now. Literally half of the starters got replaced since last season. And then just a year from before that, the changes. So again, the changes that we're making in the right direction, Mike, I hope, I would think that this team should be able to finish 10-7. I can't believe when I'm watching analysts and they say, 9-8 or 10-7 or even that's unbelievable to me, because again, this is the best team that we've had in quite a few years. I would have to say, wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Yeah,
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. My God, since maybe I don't know, man, because some of those teams that we made the playoffs in the latter years have been, the defenses were not that good. We had really good offenses. The defenses weren't good. I think this is the most well-rounded team from top to bottom.
On the board,
and some really good players on this team.
Let's see on the board. Corey says we're built like we're copying another team's business model and doing it on a Temu level. Kind of are. We're almost like the Temu Eagles at this point. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? All you got to say, all you need is a little watt power, is what he's saying. Welcome to the board, Mark. Always great seeing you on the terrible board. And then Mark follows it up by saying, imagine a linebacking core of Watt, Sawyer, Wilson, and Herbig.
Oh, God.
That's a little too pale for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a little too vanilla. But you might see it one day. Guys, this is what happened yesterday at practice for the Steelers when we're talking about injuries. Cam, he had his rest day. Of course, he doesn't practice on Thursdays. He was off. Derek Harmon was off, obviously, with his knee. Joey Porter Jr., they're not saying that he's out, but he didn't practice still. I think they're babying his hammy. And then also Deshaun Elliott, of course, is out. Mike, full participation in practice yesterday. Nick Herbig. Nick Herbig was full practice. TJ Watt was full practice. And Calvin Anderson, who was a bit of a concern for us yesterday in conversation because he was ill and he missed practice the day prior. And we said, well, what if Broderick has issues? Is this going to put us in a position? And he was back at practice full yesterday, so I'd expect to see him back out there on Sunday, Mike. Let's start with Broderick Jones. We talked about his leash. We talked about how long of a leash they were going to give him, Mike. How bad does it have to be on Sunday for Coach to walk over to Broderick Jones and tell him to just go ahead and take it easy, man? We're going to put somebody else in. How bad does it have to be? Do we have to be losing? Do we have to just give up a sack that turned into a strip sack and a turnover? I mean, is there a chance that Broderick Jones doesn't make it through all four quarters on Sunday? And if he doesn't, Mike, what is it going to take for that to happen?
It might have to be bad, like really bad, like you're saying, like constant pressure, bad, not showing any signs of knowing what the hell he's doing out there, to where he's getting Aaron Rodgers killed, or like you can see like he is the 100% obvious weak link of that line. Like everything's being crashed down from that left side. It's going to have to be, excuse me, probably brutal before they take him out, and it might be like Tallman and Rodgers going, do you want to make the move? Yeah, let's make the move and go ahead and doing it. Because if Rodgers is comfortable with them out there, I do you want to, change up his blindside left tackle to where he's worried about the other guy coming in might be worse. I don't know. He would have to be completely outmatched by whoever's going up against him. And it might be, if it's Boye Mafe, it might be a short day, because I think he can give him fits with his speed around the edge. It's going to have to be brutal.
I do want to say welcome to RB on the board. Always great seeing RB on the terrible board. Today is no different. Good morning, sir.
What up, RB?
The two big things that we're watching for, guys, again, and I have a lot of confidence in our team for this game because we're at home, because it's the opener, because of the crowd, because of Renegade, because of everything. All the energy that goes into a Steeler home game. And again, I've yet to see anything where I could say that I really think that Seattle's this great football team. Like, I think that we're going to have a good shot. But of course, these are two glaring issues just shining and beating down on us, Mike, the offensive line and the defensive line. It was, again, we're going to be paying special close attention to the offensive line, specifically Broderick, and then we're going to be paying attention to the defensive line, specifically Cam and the nose tackle position, the whole way across the board, because again, Harmon should be in there as well, but he's injured. Like, so if they can fix these two things, which I think they are both going to be improved from last week, But again, I think the question is, are they going to be able to keep that improvement consistently through the year? I think they'll be able to fix things short term because they have been able to do that with Broderick to this point. They've kind of been able to short term fix him from time to time. But as far as long term, it's like he's like an Etch-a-Sketch. You know what I mean? It just gets, once you shake it, it's gone. And it's almost like you have to start over every game with him. And I just hope that that's a trend that doesn't continue. That just can't be good for us. So again, I think that they could slap a Band-Aid on this, and I do think that they're going to get through this game. I think we'll see some of those issues peeking through. But again, I think that there'll be an improvement. Mike, again, they sat back, watched tape, seen what happened in their first game, and they aggressively handled it at practice this week. So again, I do expect an improvement. I do expect the Steelers to more than likely win this football game. But again, every eye will be on those two facets, Mike, the offense and the defensive line. But all the things that we can enjoy in the wreath around the line, your secondary, your skill players, your receivers, you know what, it's going to be a lot of fun watching these guys, and I'm excited to see Jalen Ramsey back out there. I'm excited to see DK Metcalf back out there. I'm excited to see Jonnu Smith back out there. All these guys. So, guys, it's going to be an exciting game. Any way you look at it. Again, if we could bring this win home, start off 2-0, get ready to head up to Gillette Stadium next weekend before we head off to Ireland, and then the bye week. When they were saying this team could start out 6-0 in the media, like maybe, just maybe, if they could keep their head on straight, this team might be able to start out at least 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. I think 4-0 is more of a possibility than 6-0. I'm thinking we probably go 4-1, or 3-1 in the first four. My God, Mike learned how to count.
You have us losing to Minnesota?
I have it to the Patriots, I think, next week.
I'm
not calling it a trap game. I'm just saying, going up to Gillette Stadium, a place we historically have trouble playing at. It's just one of those, places that we have trouble playing at. It's like playing at Philly. Even when Philly had bad teams, we had Ben in his prime playing well. We always shit the bed at Philly. I just have a feeling just going into New England, it's just one of those places we can't win at. And that's where I think the losses are going to happen. I think we win this one, lose next week, and win in Ireland.
All right, guys. Today's the big over-under day, of course. Stick around. The end of the show, we will be doing the overs and unders heading into the game, Mike. But now I want to talk about the special teams a little bit. The special teams I go on and on about because I realize it's such an important part of the game. It seems so little and so minimal that you see the guys, but there's such important parts of the game when a special team is in, and you can tell this by when a team F's up on special teams how big the special teams play really is. If a guy fumbles the ball away on a kickoff return and he's around his own 30-yard line, giving the team a ball at your 30, it's a problem. Yeah. Fumbling a punt, all these things that seem like such a small, minuscule part of the football game, they're highlighted to the highest degree if things go wrong. Mike, let me talk about the special teams here for a little bit. Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell has been enjoying, Mike, making an impact on special teams. I do understand that, we're working with, we do have two of our running backs playing special teams, and I don't know how much I'm in favor of this, especially right now.
Right.
But for what it's worth, Kenneth Gainwell has been all over the place, of course, causing the fumble that was recovered by Ben Skoranek that was the turning point in the game last week and allowed us to win the football game. Again, look how big one play throughout the course of the game was on special teams. And Kenneth Gainwell, he's been that guy to this point, Mike. He's been making those plays again, we've been giving up a lot of big returns, punt and kickoff. He's been a bright star, Mike, and he says he's going to continue, and he's been enjoying making special plays on special teams plays. You gotta like what he's, Mike, and this is another name. As I was naming all these guys that just came in and were enjoying, you have to have Kenneth Gainwell in there. Again, he's not running 100 yards, but look at the things that he's doing that needs to be done through the course of a football game if you want to win.
Yeah, those little things that help you win games. And, I think he had one kickoff return. I think, there's the hitting yardage throughout the game that contributed in a positive way, but then the big strip on the kickoff return that literally changed it. That was a 7 or caused us we got a touchdown, recovered, and then another touchdown right there. It's huge swing in the score, huge swing in the momentum. I like it. A guy who's coming in and just willing to do whatever it takes to get out there on the field and whatever it takes to win. And that kind of energy is infectious around the league, around the team. And this guy, he's coming off winning a Super Bowl too, and showing some of these younger guys like, yeah, I wasn't, I'm not a big star in the league, but I had some really key moments to help us get to my old team get to the Super Bowl. And look at me, I'm running down on kickoffs. And get your ass in there and let's have some fun. And we can do something in here to help this team win. I loving what Gainwell is bringing. I'm loving what every single free agent has brought here. And speaking of special teams, let's hopefully Danny Smith had another week to figure out this new dynamic kickoff return, and we can be better than league average on return yards against. Get us up there to a higher level and set the defense up in a better position.
I like that idea. You know me, I like the hits. I like the play. I don't like the touchbacks. This new kickoff.
I'm loving it. I hate that it looks like we're giving.
You were like, oh, the injuries. Oh, these guys are going to get hurt. Oh, give them Band-Aids.
But no, I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's fun to watch these guys run out in returns. I hate when the teams get the good return against us because it fucks my team over. But just watching all the other games and watching how the kickoffs are back in the NFL, I like it.
Mike, we're going to do one more special teams story I have here real quick, and then we're going to get back to the board. I seen RB pop in, Kenneth, a couple of the guys, so I want to get back over to the board. Mike, this was Danny Smith. You just mentioned Danny Smith. We're talking about the special teams. Danny Smith, he says this, Mike, quote, "We will go from anywhere." Boz has limitless range on game-winning attempts. Danny Smith says we will go from anywhere. Mike, of course, you understand what's being said. They're not going to go from the nosebleed section of the, but you got to love the confidence. And that's another thing, Mike, you just have to say thank you. Thank you that we have one of the top kickers. Mike, we have, again, a really good team on our hands here. Are we flawed? Yes. Are we flawed more than we would like to be? Absolutely. But some of these things, these pieces that we have, they're top-notch pieces, Mike, that we wouldn't be where we're at if we didn't have them. And teams around the league would love to have some of these guys, Mike, especially after this 11 out of 22-man turnover from last year's starters. Again, I feel comfortable every week. I really feel comfortable every week that we might be able to win the football game with the roster that we have. I understand that again, every team is good. Every team is NFL caliber, and you're not going to win them all. But I feel a lot more confident than I did going into the Mitch Trubisky season. I feel a lot more confident than I did going into the Kenny Pickett season. I feel a lot more confident going in than I do with Mason Rudolph. And again, you add all these other pieces into place. Again, we are flawed, totally recognized and admitted. But Mike, again, I feel better now with what we have on this roster, even with the quarterback at his age. And I feel like we have a chance to win every football game. Watch them come out and prove me wrong and just everything.
Right.
But I truly, honestly, at this point, is there anything that you could say that doesn't make you feel that you could possibly be in every game? Again, the big tests are going to be Buffalo, the Chargers, those teams from the NFC North. Baltimore, you kind of move in and out of the conversation because they are from the conference. We know them better than anybody, and chances are, we're going to play them well anyway. But there's a lot of good other teams, Mike, that we're going to be playing this year. So. I feel confident that we're going to win a lot of football games. These people are giving us 7-10 records. I think are out of their minds.
Yeah, I think they're fucking crazy, to be honest with you. And they're the same people that have been saying ever since Ben blew out his elbow that, this is the year they have a losing season. This is the year this is the year where the wheels fall off the wagon. This is where they collapse. And then finally, some of them are starting to come around like, no, this team can win, and this team finds a way to win. I hate to say it, but it's like certain organizations know how to win. You just look at their history through their coaching, their players, they will find a way to win. Will it be pretty? No. Will it make you happy? No, but they'll find a way to win because those organizations, guess what? They end up drafting, signing guys that want to win, that are prideful. Like I was watching Joe Hayden and Debo. They have a show together now, and they were talking about tanking. And Joe Hayden's like, tanking. You think Mike Tomlin or Omar Khan can go into that locker room, tell these guys, "Hey guys, we're losing so we can get a quarterback next year"? He's like, "No, we are grown ass men. We are professionals that want to win. We would look at you until you get the fuck out of here. We're
Providing
gonna go
that's the
win games."
mindset. Yes, I mean that's how
Yeah,
it should be, but that's
yeah,
not unfortunately how it always is.
yeah.
People,
But like, you know, yes, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, yeah, they collapsed in the playoffs, but you watch them in the regular season. When it's crunch time, those guys are playing out of their mind in crunch time to win that game. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's going to allow this team to
Mike,
lose games.
the attitude, the vibe, the aura, the personality that's brought with Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Ramsey, I think are the two
Yes.
key components of this team. These guys are the leaders
Yeah.
that this team needs right now. And
That
guess
we've-
what? It's working so far. Go with what's working. And don't sit here and cry. Cam, well, I'm the leader. Get the fuck out of the way. Let Ramsey lead. Let him lead by example. Let him lead vocally. And again, I think, Mike, we have a good chance to win a lot of these football games this year and be, again, I think we're in that tier right beneath about 3 elite teams, because all these other teams that are right up here as well, Mike, they all have flaws as well. They're all a couple pieces away. Maybe we're a couple pieces away. I don't know. But I think we're right in this. I truly, honestly do. I would give us a good as chance as anybody to make a decent run in the playoffs this year, Mike. And again, they're probably going to come out and prove me wrong. They'll give up 200 yards on the ground this weekend, and but I hope that that's not the case. So I feel really comfortable and really confident with this team, more than I thought that I was. Again, coming out of last year, Mike, we had an 11 starter turnover, 11 out of 22. So if you didn't feel good after the season last year, you should feel a little bit better. The results we've seen Monday were similar to what we've seen in the postseason. Again, let's take a look at week 2. Everybody's always going to say, rusty, this, that, we'll work on it. This is we had a chance to see this. So let's give them this week, and then we'll start to make more assessments to say how we think that this is going to turn out. Because, I think it would be unfair giving an assessment after 1 week. We could give a 1-week assessment, but of how this team is ultimately going to move, you're now getting into multiple games at home. So I think we're going to take a good look at this game this week, Mike, and try to get a feel of what this team really might be. Because if you make them adjustments and you get better on the defensive line and better on the offensive line, you can say, okay, well, they're making progress. And if this keeps moving in the right direction, we should eventually be, in good spot. But if those things start regressing and going the other way, then we might start saying, okay, well, what's the deal? How do you fix this? What are you going to do with Broderick? Are we going to have to play somebody else? We're going to have to move him. Are we going to, and also with the defensive line as well. So I think that this week, for being early, for what it is, every week is always important in football. But this week, Mike, I think we learned a little bit more about this team as we were wondering last week going into the first game. We said, well, we'll see what happens on Sunday. We'll learn a little bit. This week is going to give us something to compare it against. Last week. So we learn more and more every week about this team. And so far, as I'm saying, Mike, it's not bad. We're certainly not in a bad place. We didn't go out and get blown out by the Jets. We found a way to win. We won a close game. We scored over 30 points. A lot of good things did happen. We just have to see this week if it's going to continue to improve on the interior line, both offensive and defensive.
Exactly. And I'm not looking for a night and day improvement along the D line and O line. I want to see an improvement, because asking for a complete 180 turnaround in 1 week this early in the season, I think that's an impossible ask. But I want to see a nice improvement to show that, okay, we tried a new scheme where guys have went back to the drawing board and are just focusing on their technique, playing sound football, not trying to be the hero, not trying to do too much, just focusing on their assignment. And if you do that, it's funny, like in sports and in life, if you keep it simple, stupid, sometimes that's just the easiest thing to do. And next thing you know, you just keep it simple, stupid. And then next thing you know, hey, you're gaining success. You're gaining confidence. I forget who said it on the board yesterday. I think it was Corey. Confidence is key. You get that confidence. The next thing you know, you're playing. You're not thinking. You're just going out there and doing what you know how to do, what you've been doing your whole life. And then next thing you know, you can start rolling. So I just want to see a nice improvement. I'm not expecting a complete, like I said, a complete 180.
And
improvements.
I didn't plan on branching off at this point in the conversation. I do plan on getting back to the board real soon. But Mike, one thing that I did notice that off of what you said is that they're saying Jabril Peppers, he fits right in back there. This guy's going to be able to go in and not think but play. And a lot of times, if you don't want to, a lot of times you don't want to think, you want to play. That's why.
That's what they say.
With repetitive practice through your whole life as a football player, you got to be able to play the game. You got to be able to see things. The game should slow down for you as you get better. And I think that's the case with somebody like Jabril Peppers. And again, like I think this guy, like all these other new guys on this Steeler team, they want to kind of make a splash for this team.
Yeah.
They recognize what's going on. They recognize that they all just got brought in. And I think that all these guys, they all want to make a big splash. They all want to make a big contribution to this football team, and they all want to do something special. So put that with, maybe again, one of these special send-off rides for Aaron Rodgers. You might be able to get something really special out of this year. But again, best case scenario, if we do really well, maybe he comes back next year and we can kind of draft a quarterback, have him sit behind Aaron. Again, we'll worry about that stuff in April. But Mike, again, right now you have to and for people to complain after the 5 years that we just went through and the 8 years that we just went through without winning a playoff game, again, you got to see that we're moving in the right direction. I can't understand totally being complaining about the squad. Again, 11 starters from last year been replaced. In the list of guys that came in their place, it's not this average linebacker out of Arizona. It's not this average defensive tackle out of again, the names, these are big time names, brother. And if you're playing a video game, these are all the same people you're putting on your team, and you're going to probably win 98-0. It's totally different story. But at the end of the day, we're making we're making decisions that should be and hopefully are improving this team.
Yeah, it's not like back under the Kevin Colbert regime of, okay, first wave of free agency has gone. Second wave of free agency has gone. Okay, now we're going to go make our move in free agency. It's like, no, it's like first, second, third.
Best possible deal.
We are going out and finding someone that will fit this glaring hole that we need, or this guy hasn't played well. Guess what? We're going to bring someone in who can do it. Like an 11-player turnaround from offense and defense. I don't think I've ever seen that in Pittsburgh.
Especially from a team that have finished 10-7 and made the playoffs. It wasn't like this team finished 3-14 and missed the playoffs by a mile. So again, these should be they should be improvements that make what we had better. And again, like we're not, we're not depending on Kenny and Mitch and you know what I mean. Those are all fine and dandy when it's all you have. Yeah. But again, our quarterback came out and threw 4 touchdowns last week. Do I expect that to continue? Probably not. I mean, come on. It's the NFL is very difficult. And again, once teams see tape, they change. But our guy does see a lot of things that people don't see out on that football film. Like number 8, he is one of those elites. Yes, albeit at the end of his career, he still has been his whole career one of them quarterbacks. The last couple years kind of rough, but he has a new life. It almost seems since he's come to Pittsburgh, and I think it's infectious to everybody in that locker room.
Yeah, and you see like the way he controls the offense when he's out there pre-snap, him making the calls, listening to the calls that Frazier's telling him to check into and out to, and the way they're working. You can tell there were plays that he saw that he checked out of. Now, did they all work? No, but guess what? He probably saw something that thought would work. I'd rather have that than a quarterback going, I'm not going to make this call. I'm not going to make the. I'm just going to go with what they tell me. I want that veteran out there because he's going to hit more often than not when he sees something out there because he's been there, he's done that, and the football IQ is still there.
And the thing is, he's not. If he was physically terribly out of shape, it would be a different story as well.
Yes.
Yes, he is 41, but I'm going to be honest with you guys.
That ball was getting out of his hand.
It still looked good. It wasn't like he looks like an old 42. But Mike, I do want to talk about that and a lot more, but we got to get to the board. I want to say what's up to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. RB. I'm going to start with you, sir. He says, Mark Malone, all we need is a 4-quarter breather, a complex that someone gets more awards than us, and to chase personal stats over team accomplishments. Follows it up by saying, all we need is a real defensive coordinator and a head coach willing to hire one and let him do his job so the head coach can do his actual job. Cody says, can you tell people to quit buying the Ramsey jerseys? They've been sold out every day since Monday. I've been thinking about one too, Cody. I really have.
I mean, hey, Jalen Ramsey doesn't have to worry. Jalen Ramsey can sleep soundly like Cam Hayward because they both got their money now.
I would get one of them. I like them yellow ones. A lot of people think they're ugly. I would get a yellow Jalen Ramsey jersey. That's my.
I think that would look nice.
I do too.
No, you don't. Love me some Jalen Ramsey.
Kenneth, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board. RB says everyone always points at Austin, but nowhere in Austin's past can you show me a cover 2 over cover 3 out of constant 2, 4, 5. You know who has a history with that style defense as a defensive coordinator? Probably Tomlin, right? Caleb says, I'm sorry, Cody says Caleb Johnson was an awful one. You know what? That's one thing I'm concerned about. I don't know if I really love him on special teams and how long they're going to continue to do that. And I didn't think it was going to make it out of the preseason with Caleb Johnson running kickoffs back, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I care for this. He's not doing amazing. And if he was doing really great, but he's solid. He's solid because he's getting, his numbers on kickoff return are a decent number. But again, is that worth it to you? Are you willing to lose, this third down back? Yeah. Let's just say Jalen Warren's done for the season off a knee injury this week. Then you're sitting there with Kenneth Gainwell and nothing else. I don't know how much you want to risk keeping Caleb Johnson returning kicks. But again, at the end of the day, I've yet to see this speed burst. I've yet to been excited about Caleb Johnson. I'm not giving up on him. No. But I just don't know if I like him on special teams.
He is 5th overall in return yards.
It's been you know what? And Aaron Rodgers is number 1 in touchdown.
Hey, we only have the 1 week to go by, and that 1 week he's top 5 in kick return yards.
If that's all that mattered, I would love it. But unfortunately, we get 16 more. It's probably going to even out a little bit. I'm going to guess.
But what if he finishes in the top 5 after 18 weeks?
Oh, here's what's going to happen. He's going to continue to have a good average because they're running the ball out of the end zone. He hasn't done anything special yet. He's actually kind of slow on the kickoff return, and he's getting that average amount of yards, 26 yards, give or take.
Yeah.
If he starts doing things special, like taking it to the house for a big 50-yard return, then we could have this conversation. Yeah. I haven't seen anything that resembled that. He's getting in that area of yards that people are getting now that they're returning the ball from the end zone. So, again, I'm not a big fan. We'll continue to, keep an eye on that, see how they play it. John says, Dan, what's up, John? Always great seeing John on the board. He says, Dan, his chicks dig the long ball. That's right. That's right, baby.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Cody says, I'd like to see Roman Wilson return. I'd like to see Roman Wilson
do anything.
I mean, yes, he was out on the field, and I specifically looked when I was watching back, but I would like to see, let's see something from Roman Wilson. He, they went on and on and on in the preseason about him. 4 catches, 93 yards, whatever it was. I hope to see him, and also Darnell Washington. I hope to see them get some targets Sunday.
We got to get Mason Rudolph in there to throw those guys the ball. Aaron Rodgers was talking about him, but he didn't throw to him this game.
Yeah,
he had high hopes for him, but he didn't throw to him.
Well, so far Aaron is known best, so I'm not going to go against, but I would certainly like to see these guys get sprinkled in a little bit, Mike. Again, just more weapons. More weapons, the better, in my opinion. I guess we didn't need them last week as we, scored almost halfway to 70 points. Crazy for the Steelers, but it was what it was. Also, let's go to Corey. Corey says, during the Pickett era when had lose. Hold on, let me scroll down. It's moving on me. All right. Corey says, during the Kenny Pickett era when had lost 1, win 2 if we lost week 1. In week 2, lose 1 if we. Oh, Corey, you're killing me here. Then
we've all been there, brother.
Then when we went down, we lost every game until Rudy came in. I get what you're saying. I just can't say what you're saying.
Win 1, lose 2.
Win 1, yes.
Win 1. Yeah.
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we can't do. And again, we put ourselves in a position to maybe not have that happen to us. John says it depends on the individual what defines winning. In my mind, they haven't won since 2009. I won't lower my standard. And that's an interesting thing that Mike and I do talk about. We've talked about on the show. If you go by championships, then the Steelers technically only had 6 good seasons.
Yeah.
So ultimately, yes, I look at it that way too. And anytime I talk to anybody that's not a Steeler fan, and if I get into a debate, I'll use that every time. Believe me, I'll pull that card out of my back pocket and say, who's had more winning great seasons than we did. New England tied us, but that's it. So you know what I mean? So at some point I have to kind of step back and zoom out a little bit because a successful season is an AFC championship appearance. A successful season is but ultimately, I mean, we've only had 6 good seasons, if that be the way. But I'd get kind of depressed if I continued on that route. Just because, again, we haven't had a good season since 2009. So I totally agree. And again, Mike and I have this conversation often, actually.
Yeah, and every year, like I have different expectations going in every year. You have to look at the roster. You can't just go, oh, we have to make it to a AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl for it to be a successful season. Then you look and you have Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. It's just kind of unreal expectations. They have to be, you have to base it on the roster. I don't know. It's like when I see Pirates fans always saying, "Oh my God, we're going to make it the playoffs this year." I'm like, how? How? And then I watch them melt down all season long. Like, look at the roster and set your expectations. It's like Penguins fans. Oh, we still have Sid and Gino. We're going to go. Like, look at the roster and look at their performances. The only one playing well is one guy. You got it. For me, I set expectations personally on looking at the roster, then looking at the landscape of the league, and like, okay, where are we going to slot in at? Okay, here's my baseline. Anything over that, that's a successful season for me based on how the team is currently constructed. And now, like this year, I have very high expectations for this team. So my expectations changed from the moves that they made going into the offseason. I had low expectations, but the moves that they made, I changed my expectations. Now I expect a decent playoff run. Anything other than that is a failure.
RB says, I love the roster. I see an offense who finally is doing something different, but see a defense that has made zero, and I mean zero changes besides players, just same calls and looks. That's, I agree to a degree. I can't wait to see Sunday to see how this defense reacts and how they adjust. And again, I totally suspect them to play a better game this weekend. I just do. And again, but Mike, it's the long term. It's the consistency of that improvement is what I'm worried about. Again, if they come out and play lights out, like some people were saying they're going to come out and play lights out against Seattle, whether they do, whether they don't, I want to know if we're still going to be playing that level whenever we do play Buffalo, when we play the Packers, when we play the Lions, when we play the Chargers. So again, fixing it this week is one thing, but fixing it this week and beyond is ultimately it should be the goal. Again, you could go out and dominate this week and then come out next week and shit the bed in New England. And then we're back to square one saying, okay, well, what do we got here? So again, it has to be a consistency thing. It has to be a long-term thing. And that's going to be the difficult part. I don't think it's going to be difficult fixing it for a game, for a week. Again, I expect this defense and the offensive line maybe to play a little bit better this week. But again, doing it through 17 games, that's the trick. That's the $1 million question. And we will continue to try to fix these issues so that can happen. RB also follows it up by saying, after getting drubbed every good team we played for years, nothing scheme-wise has changed at all. And you know what, RB? Isn't that the case with the Patriots after playing them for 20 years and not beating them? We went out with that same defense every year against the Patriots, and we did not change a thing. And Tom Brady would murder us every year. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why. And again, we went out and lost 51-36 or something like that the one time. We lost 51 points. And the next year we came out and played the same exact way. We came out with the same exact schemes. I don't understand it. Again, that kind of worries me. But RB does finish that up by saying, Mike loves to preach. We don't live in our fears, yet he runs the most vanilla defenses out of fear. So we will see again, guys. Sunday is another day in the on the litmus test to see what the improvement is. But like I said, the thing I'm keeping an eye on is if that improvement can continue, just like we said on the board with the 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's one thing that we want to avoid with this team. And we have pieces in place. Let's get it fixed, guys. Again, offense and defensive line, big moving forward. If that dictates how this season goes, it really does. John agrees with RB. Corey says, speaking of personal accolades, that fool Hayward is still wearing that Walter Payton patch. It's probably the biggest accomplishment in the league for him.
It is for him because it was a Cam Hayward award.
Yeah. John says, I want an innovative, fresh eyes offensive coordinator who picks the next QB to fit his scheme and is allowed to control the offense. Art never calls me for advice, however. You would like to get to that position, and it seems like it has been difficult since Tomlin been there because that's never really been the case. We'll see if that changes moving forward. But he's been here almost a couple of decades already, and
Real quick, last year the Steelers blitz rate, they blitzed 28.2% of the time. In week 1, they blitzed 42.3%. That was fourth highest in the league.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But is it going to, again, let's see, consistency is my main key with this team. Let's see how these things go from week to week. And here's another issue, Mike. Speaking of the blitz, this is what I think Seattle's going to do. They're going to bring it. They know that our offensive line was like wet paper last week.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they blitz at a high rate. Yes, they know that Aaron could read the blitz, but if you prepare a package and put a defensive plan together, I think that this offensive line gets really tested this week because, again, Mike, if you keep coming, you're eventually going to get through this line. I think teams around the NFL know that. And, again, this is the improvements that we do need to make if we are going to continue to get better and play good football. But again, this week, guys, a pretty good litmus test. But now, same as last week, but again, something to compare it against from last week. RB, I see RB is next. He says, the young guys who are disappointed in Caleb Johnson as a returner, go back and watch the days where Mike put Kerry Davis and Isaac Redmond back there, two guys who ran like linemen. I know. Najee Davenport, he was another one.
I liked when Najee Davenport was back there.
I've never seen somebody slower run a kickoff. Never. Kenneth says Johnson runs to traffic like a running back. Doesn't look for. He doesn't. There's no elusiveness. I mean, I'm sure it's in there. Believe me. I'm not saying that this guy isn't good, but I would like to see a little bit more if they are going to keep him in special teams. Let's see some of the skills. I mean, anybody can take the ball and run straight forward. We like it for a reason.
Give me Scotty Miller back there.
I don't know.
I'm going to try Scotty Miller for a game back there.
I don't know. No. Kenneth says Johnson's not a kickoff return guy. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says, what up, fam? Happy Friday. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Sticky B. John says, when I played baseball and softball, home run equaled getting laid. RB says, Kenneth, with this new kickoff rule, you need to use a halfback almost. It's like calling a run play. Most of these need one broken tackle for a big return, but these kickoffs are like deep pitches essentially. John says they can't win a ring every season. However, it has been a long time, and I don't think anybody agrees with you, John. I would love to at least be in arm's reach of winning the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to be able to
to say that we're
I want one so goddamn bad. I was spoiled there for a while there. The Penguins were winning, the Steelers were winning all the time. It was great.
Corey says, sorry, I had a stroke. Fingers on Kenny. You're all good, brother. He says, I think I accidentally dipped into Vanilla's stash. This is why we don't put the cocaine next to the powdered sugar. Speaking of which, Corey sent us another really cool picture. This is something this kind of came up over a few times over the past week or so. So Corey has sent a picture. I'm like, go ahead and put up Corey's new art. There it is. There's Mike with his skullet and his cocaine shirt. It says, bring me my lot lizards, brother. And then there's me saying, I just prefer a good joint, man. Very, very awesome artwork by Corey. We appreciate it.
Like I wish my arms were that defined, brother.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But there you go. Thank you. Keep them coming. If you have anything,
cocaine,
anything creative in your mind, and anybody, send it on over. We'll certainly put it up on the board and talk on the screen. Talk about that.
Just a reminder: cocaine's never killed anyone. It's the weak heart that kills you.
That's right, weak heart. John says the Killer Bees was their Super Bowl window, and they shit the bed. You know what? I agree. I was so disappointed at the way the Killer Bees team ended up. So much potential power, or skill on one particular team.
Yeah.
That really should have been Ben's later run, I thought. But what are you going to do at this point? But I agree.
What was it like? In that run, they only played like one or two games together, all three of them. Whether Bell had the knee issue a couple times, and some other shit happened to where they all didn't play healthy all the time together, and that kind of fucked them up right there. And the defense is just completely shitting the bed in the playoffs.
Corey says that, John, I hear you, but we're in a totally different era of Steeler football now, and we're building our Super Bowl back up. SB, it's coming. Give it between now and 5 years from now, as long as we get a left tackle. Right? I'm sorry. Sorry about that, messing that up again. Corey also follows up by saying this is the first game we play the Patriots without Bill Belichick. So this isn't the same Patriots team. New opportunity here.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, I don't know if I have another 5 years in me.
Well, let me go back a little bit. Back in the late '90s, we were good in the '90s, and the Patriots hadn't had Bill Belichick or Tom Brady at the time, and they were still a difficult team for us to beat. I remember we beat them the 1 year 7-6, and it was just like the tightest game ever. And then I remember the 1 year in the playoffs. It was either the year after we lost the Super Bowl or the year after that they lost 28-3 to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So the Patriots always have played us tough. Certainly from the '90s, if I could remember. And then
True.
I didn't like them because of this. And then they get Tom Brady and Belichick, and it ended up being a 2-decade disaster for us. But they've always played us good. So again, hopefully we could go up there, Mike. Again, if we could go to Ireland with a 3-0 record under our belt, I'm liking the way the season's going. Again, and there's always going to be areas that we can improve on, because we're not in that top tier just yet, and that's fine. We're working, we're getting there. Certainly closer than we were 2 years ago, I can say.
Yeah, a whole hell of a lot closer. But can they keep it up, keep it going, and can they stack wins? Right. Can they stack good seasons, build that
long
momentum?
Term and consistency?
Yep.
John also says, Corey B, CB, you were assuming they picked the right quarterback and the current coaching staff can develop him. Time will tell. RB says Davenport actually ran a 4-4. You know what? I remember watching him. I remember thinking, I don't recall who was the kick returner directly before him, but when they left and we lost that person, it was like going from a sprinter to a snail. It really was. And I'm thinking, why is he so slow? Why do they have him back there? And he wasn't fast on the kick return. I don't know what his deal was, but I remember hating Najee Davenport returning kicks. It was almost as bad as the Gunnar Krzyzewski punt return experiment. I just hated it. I hated it.
And wasn't he supposed to be a good punt returner when he came in?
Oh, when he was in New England, he did great.
Yeah, when he was in New England, of course. Of course, you cannot take New England secondhand white guys.
Yeah, right.
It's
They're only good in New England.
They are only good.
It's like taking our second, our Goodwill wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly. They leave here, they shit the bed.
Big money or whatever. They're young money.
Young money crew.
Mike Wallace. Yes, Emmanuel Sanders did have a little bit of a career.
Really good career.
But Mike Williams, he took his one-trick pony. He wasn't around that long in Miami, maybe for a little bit. Yep. And then AB, of course, loses his mind entirely. But let's see. RB says, I argue with people, swap the times, and Davenport is Derrick Henry today, and Henry is I don't know about that. But I respect your opinion. That's how much the game has changed. I can see what you're saying, but I just don't think that Davenport was that guy. He was doing okay in Green Bay. Then we brought him in, and I thought this again. He was kind of a step down from what we had. I don't remember who was before him returning kicks. I remember not loving it.
That isn't. I don't know if I entirely agree or disagree, because I know what you're saying. I would see Derrick Henry against some of those stouter D lines, like traditional, going up against big snacks in the middle, or Richard Seymour up in New England, and then the big hitting linebackers after that. It would be would he still be as effective at the age he is now then, at like 37 years old? That's an interesting thought experiment.
Richard says, I want to be a Neil O'Donnell throwaway from winning the championship. Maybe like the 3 more yards play the year prior to, when San Diego snuck into the Super Bowl with 3 more yards. And then like the Super Bowl, of course, the interceptions that Richard's talking about. When you're in that grasp, but it hurts more.
Oh God, yeah.
It hurts more when
you're so close.
Yeah, you could smell the championship, and then something F's up and you lose it. But I hear you. We all do, man, for sure.
Yeah, because you're kind of, especially like back in that era, I was young and naive, thinking, okay, we're going back. We'll be there. Now you're like, fuck, to get that close. I was so lucky to be that young and have that close my team every year in it. Now I'm like, I'd fucking kill for that. But I would hate it at the same time, because I know how hard it is to get to that spot and how fast that window can close. And next thing you know, you're 20 years of misery.
I do want to say welcome to Nate Needs More Salad. What's up? He says Cody Silva sent me here, and we welcome you, Nate. Happy to have you aboard. Welcome to the terrible board.
I love everybody.
I do too. Getting ready for the big game, of course, Nate. But I do want to say welcome. John says Green Bay played Jaden Daniels correctly. The tape is out. And you know what I think also, John, you're right. I think that this was going to be a sophomore slump year for Jaden. You know, the guy comes in as a rookie and takes his team to the NFC Championship game. I certainly think that this is probably going to be his slump that comes up this season. And I don't expect them to do what they did last year. But you're right. Green Bay, and they are exposed. Green Bay certainly acted on it. They went out and did what they needed to do. But again, guys, moving forward, unfortunately, we play the NFC North this year, where a lot of the good teams are out, Mike, where I think these teams are up and coming, opposed to the Commanders having their sophomore slump. I think Green Bay, again, they're looking really strong right out the gate.
That defense?
2-0 to start, Mike. I think they dominated for the most part, most of the two games. And then again, you're going to have Minnesota and Detroit. They're going to have ups and downs because they're still hoping that their window is open.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, and if they're not. So I think both of these teams are going to play good football. We're trying to keep that window open, and the Bears are the Bears. But, I agree with you 100%. I expect some kind of a slump. I'm not saying that he's going to suck. I'm not going to say that the Skins are terrible, but I'm just saying I do expect a slump because taking your team to the NFC Championship game in your rookie season, that's a pretty big deal.
It's a huge deal. And that Green Bay defense, people have been saying Pittsburgh defense has a chance to be like generational. That Green Bay defense, it flew under the radar during the offseason, flew under the radar a little bit after week one. I think that defense, when you look at everything said and done, is probably going to be either number one or number two in the league this year. The way they're playing right now, and then you add, Micah Parsons in there, that defense might have a chance to be fucking nasty this year. Nasty the way they're playing early. Can they keep it up? That's the thing. When you start hot, can you keep it up all 18 weeks?
RB says he runs way too upright to ever made it in the old NFL, and that was Davenport's old biggest issue then. Yeah, I don't know. I used to call him a slug. There was just something about Najee Davenport that just rubbed me wrong. I don't know. I never loved him. But I respect.
Because he was the original taking the grumpy. Didn't he poop in someone's shoes or like his ex-girlfriend's shoes or something?
I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, because I remember back in the day on message boards back in the day before we had Twitter and stuff, they would call him the dumper.
I don't remember. That was a long time ago, about over 20 years. Like I don't.
And I'm not about to do a Google search of Najee Davenport and poop.
I can't believe we're still talking about Najee Davenport. I'm going to be honest with you. Nate needs more salad. He says, first time on this podcast. Welcome, brother. Great to have you by. Also, he says, how do you feel about Rodgers prior to his debut and now after his week one performance? I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. When he first, I'm going to break it into 4 parts. Before he was here, I hated him. I thought this was going to be a circus if he comes here. Why is he playing games? Why is this one over 3 months and we still haven't heard from him? If we haven't had a decision. Why is he in the tree? Why is he in the woods praising tree gods, taking ayahuasca? We're worried about a football team here. I hated it. I hated the idea. That was leg 1. Leg 2, he came and he was really cool. And he wasn't any of the things that people said that he was going to be. He said all the right things. He made all the right moves. And I thought, you know what? This guy might be okay. And then you start to see everybody rally around him. So I said, okay, he's my quarterback. Let's give him a chance. He's going to be the quarterback on our football team. It's the best we could do. Let's give him a shot. Prior to game 1, step 3, leg 3, I wasn't happy. He didn't play a single snap in preseason. The argument was, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But my argument was the 10 other guys that need to be practicing out in that game play situation with their quarterback, hearing his cadence in front of a crowd, in front of a team that it's not your team. I wasn't a big fan. Still liked him. Still thought, okay, this is my quarterback. After game 1, leg 4, I like him a lot. I acknowledge also that he's going to be 42 this season. I also acknowledge he's not going to be very fast to get out of the pocket. But once you understand that, but then you take the elite quarterback mind of an Aaron Rodgers. Again, there's only about 3 to 4 guys in the league per time that has that between the neck and head. There's only about 4. I mean, the elite quarterbacks, they come in very small numbers. Mike, he is on the tail end of his elite quarterback career, but he still is up here between the neck and the head. He still is an elite quarterback. And as long as that 41-year-old body can still get out there and do those things that he does, I'm feeling good about it. And again, Nate, I feel a lot better than if it was Mitch Trubisky. I feel a lot better than if it was Kenny Pickett, which I like Kenny. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Pitt guy. And then it's also a lot better than Mason Rudolph. And again, those were our best options.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, I do feel better now after last game than I did the whole time. It's been an up and down road for me, but I did accept it. I did accept it pretty early though, Nate, that he was going to be our quarterback. And I said, if we sign him, I'm gonna root for him. I'm gonna cheer for him, and I'm gonna hope that we win football games because of him. And it is what it is. Tomorrow might be a different story. Come see us on Victory Monday, hopefully, and I might give you a totally different tale of how I feel. But at this point, it's certainly been the Steel Phantom for me at Kennywood, a roller coaster ride. And again, I believe in him. I believe in this team. And again, this is the best team that we've seen put together in quite a while here in Pittsburgh. So hopefully we could do something this year. And again, going off of somebody else's comment, I think it's Corey. He said in the next one, he says, I still hold my opinion of the Green Bay as the sleeper team in the Super Bowl. You know what? That's my hopeful wish. And again, maybe the NFL sometimes plays out in weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
An Aaron Rodgers versus Green Bay Packers Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think it can be an amazing, amazing game. It's certainly for ratings and just Americans who love to get together in February and watch this football game. He puts us in the best spot that we could be in right now. So I like him to answer your question, Nate, and I think you do too, by the way you responded. Let me grab his next comment, and I'm going to pass it to you, Mike, to see what you got to say. He says that he made some absolutely nutty throws week one. He's so quick through his reads. He's still elite. I agree. He's certainly elite up here. And as long as he could keep the neck down in running shape, and we got to keep him healthy and keep him from being hurt, I think we see more of that. Again, he sees things before everybody else sees it. I think he truly does. He knows where he's going, but he doesn't stare at the guy. He knows where a blitz is coming, and he goes right. He does all the things that really good quarterbacks know how to do, Mike. And as long as we keep him healthy and don't let him get hurt, we have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. I truly believe that.
I think so too. And like when I first heard this, maybe Aaron Rodgers' Steelers, I was against it because I thought this year we were just gonna trot the team out there, see who gets better, see where we can make improvements, get some good draft picks and move on. Then we get DK. Then this happens, that happens, things start rolling. It's like, go get them. I was on board, I think, pretty early once I saw the way the team was going to be built. Then I was like, hell yeah. Then they got Rodgers. Then, we're ramping up. We get Jonnu. We get Jalen Ramsey. I was excited. I was more excited than Ryan when the whole thing started out. Once I saw the vision of the way that they were going to build the team, I was like, hell yeah, might as well go get them and see what happens. Fuck it. Let's go. And, I'm liking it so far. I like he still has the zip on the ball, still has a feel for the game. And like the launch angle that he had, I think it was on the touchdown to CA3 when he got in his face and he just threw, just going to throw like this and hit it pinpoint. We haven't seen a quarterback do that since Ben around here, and I don't think Ben was as good as Rodgers as slinging that football. And it's good to see. Hopefully, he can stay healthy all year, because if he does, and the line figures it out to an extent, it could be a pretty dangerous offense. It was fun to watch them score 30-some points.
Mike, the black and gold need to take advantage of having this guy back there. Yeah. Is it the most ideal situation?
No.
Probably not, because he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Probably because he's closer to 50 than he is to 30.
Yeah.
However, the things that he displayed last week and the leadership that he's displayed up to this point, guys, makes me think that we might have something here. Let's try to get the best out of this, the most out of this that we can. Let's get to John. John says, I'm rooting for Rodgers. He also says this. He says, Stephen Hawking's still had his brain, too. What's so weird about Stephen Hawking? What the hell was doing that? What was doing all that talking all that time? You know what I mean? They're saying that Elon Musk is putting the thing in people's heads now where you can control the computer with your brain. 30 years ago, when Stephen Hawking was talking, it was almost the same science. Again, I don't know. I'm not. This isn't my area of expertise by any means, but he would just sit there, and words would come out of his mouth. And those seemed like the things that we're working into as far as technology that we certainly didn't have back in the 90s when I first noticed Stephen Hawking.
I actually kind of know a little bit how it worked. That's how nerd I am. Like when they had like the big interviews and stuff for him and stuff he would appear on, like talk shows, all the questions were pre-given to him, so he can do like he was able to use his little machine, and they had the stuff ready to go, and he would just have to like look at it and
Well,
it
that's
would
not
give
as
the answer.
impressive.
Yeah, but there was also too, I think, like he could move it with his tongue or his eyes. It would track like where he wanted to go.
That's
if he was
exactly what
doing like a
Neuralink is
eye
doing.
thing. Yeah,
Like
and
they're literally putting chips in people's heads right now,
Oof.
and they're moving stuff on their computers with their eyes and in their brains. And again, that was an awfully advanced technology for over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And further. I mean, the guy had his issues for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Now all I'm going to see every time Aaron Rodgers moves slow in the pocket is Stephen Hawking's back there.
Stephen Hawking is like Krang. Remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Krang? He was just that brain. John says all the Packers' previous quarterback Super Bowl winners won when they were 27. That's right. Bart Starr did it in Super Bowl 1. Brett Favre did it against the Patriots in Super Bowl 31. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers did it against the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. And Love turns 27 this year. So, Mike, that could be a precursor for what this year might bring. Maybe a Steelers Packers Super Bowl, and have Aaron Rodgers ride off on the Whitebirds this time instead of the Packers quarterback.
Exactly. You know, the streak has to end at some point. You know, the Undertaker streak ended, brother.
If the Undertaker streak ended, everything has to end.
Exactly.
John says preloaded. He used his chin movement to type one word a minute. You know what? That's what I'm saying. It's a lot less impressive now that I know what actually happened.
Yeah.
You know,
once I learned the secret behind it, like, oh man, I thought he was doing that shit real quick and fast.
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Let's get back into a few more things here, Mike. As we do move along, getting ready for the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks this Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, down on the North Shore. I know everybody is ready for this game, getting ready to go 2-0, hopefully, to start off this season, Mike. A couple things also that we are going to talk about today. A lot of questions are coming back because this is the revenge tour season, apparently. Every single season, all these new people we brought in, we play all their ex teams this year. It plays out that way, Mike. So a lot of people have been getting on DK, Seattle, what's going to go down? What do you got to say? DK says this. DK says, y'all are going to be making a big deal out of this. It's just another football game to me. And you know what? That's the way to look at it. I think that's the way Aaron Rodgers looked at it in week 1, going back and playing the Jets. These guys are professionals. These guys have been successful professionals. There's no reason to let those kind of mind games get into their head, especially at this tenure of their career. I think he goes against Seattle. He does just as good as he did last week, maybe better. Mike, I think that he hits the nail on the head. I don't think he's lying. If it was in Seattle, maybe a different story. Yeah. If this game was in Seattle, maybe. But this game here in Pittsburgh, when all you have to think about in this town is football, I think he goes out and plays just fine. I think the Seattle Seahawks, a lot of these guys are gone from the team that he was there. Lockett's not there anymore. The Gino
coach is gone.
Coach is gone. So again, if this was in Seattle, perhaps. Yeah. But I don't think that this affects DK one bit.
I think like once game day gets there, there'll be a little bit in there, like looking across the sideline. Hey, I used to play over there, but like I don't think the ending was really acrimonious there. I think everyone kind of knew that team in its current state. Hey, it's time to start turning the roster over. He asked for the trade. I don't remember it being acrimonious. Just be like, hey, if all this stuff's going on, can you trade me? And they moved quick to trade him. So I don't know if there's any real bad blood. If there is, it's probably not that bad.
I don't think there's going to be anything.
And I think DK, he seems to be that type of athlete just from watching him afar. Like, game day is game day. It's time to go, matter who I'm playing, whatever the circumstances. He's going to give you everything he has.
Are real professionals. I got to be honest with you. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and Jalen Ramsey. I love what we get with these guys as far as being professionals and leaders so far, Mike, and everything they brought to the table. That's why I am optimistic about this football team this year, because I think we added so much, not just a skilled player, but I think the professionalism and what these guys have upstairs is going to go a long way on this team and teach a lot of guys around them how to do that as well. A couple more things we do have here. The YA Black, Mike, he says that the Belly Selly will return. And with that being said, Mike, Terrell Austin comes out and says this week that they expect him to play more on that defensive line. Of course, I think they need him a lot more on that defensive line. Mike, those two comments, Terrell Austin, YA Black's going to be playing more. YA Black says the Belly Selly will be will be returning.
Oh, I hope it does. Hell, let's. I want to see that silly often. I want to see it on some big grunt stuffs for negative yardage. I want to see it on a. It'd be nice to see him get a sack. Just laying that big fat belly on Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's sack seems to me a lot more feasible than a Justin Fields sack.
Yeah, yeah. He Sam Darnold, he has escapability, but not like a Justin Fields. Yeah. My God. So, and I think we're going to get a lot of pressure on them this week. We had pressures last week. We just couldn't get the Fields, man. With someone like that who knows how to move around the pocket and is really quick on his feet. You got to be perfect. Or someone like Sam Darnold, who has escapability, but compared to Fields, he's a statue back there comparatively. I'm thinking we're going to be able to hit him early and often.
And one thing that you did mention yesterday, well, they do have Puka Nacua. They do
not Puka,
or not Puka. I'm sorry, Cooper Kupp. You know
Cooper
what I'm talking
Kupp,
about. He said
easy mistake.
And
easy
they
mistake.
also have Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah.
I don't think this is an issue. It was an issue. But again, if this secondary comes out and plays to their potential and how they want to play and how they know they can play, I think Cooper Kupp and JSN become a non-factor in this game. This is why I think we beat this football team and go 2-0, Mike. Maybe this is the week that the defense really shows out. And again, even if it's just a short-term fix on the offensive defensive line, I do think that there's going to be improvement, Mike. And that's why I think that we do win this game this week. And again, all these big guys in the secondary should make problems like Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith-Njigba should make their production pretty minimal, in my opinion.
My biggest fear is it's looking like JPJ won't be playing. Like that hamstring is still really tight on him. He hasn't practiced all week. So that's my only concern. It's like, okay, now Slade's going to have to do a whole lot more. Or a little bit of Slade. When Slade's the third man in that mix, it's a whole hell of a lot better. Now we're going to see R. Barley's guy. We're probably going to see James Pierre a lot more than we wanted to this
Mike,
game.
let me just give you some of these names again. Jalen Ramsey, Slay, Peppers, Eccles, Thornhill, Clark. Mike, we have guys back there. You know what I'm saying? Just because we don't have BJ, let's say we don't, this is how the secondary is built. And I think we should be okay. Again, this is another litmus test, Mike. We will see again, just enough. We'll have enough to compare again from last week. And again, you learn more every week about your squad.
Exactly.
And this week is no different. So if Joey Porter Jr. does not play, you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. We get to have a look at what it's like without JPJ in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
because we're much better prepared this year than we were last year or
absolutely.
3 years ago. Much better reserves and guys on here to where we can do
better shape to win football games, I think.
Exactly. It would be nice to have the full secondary out there, but hey, their secondary's beat up too, so it's a wash at that.
Yes, they got injuries as well. RB says Najee Davenport, the dump truck, shitting his ex-girlfriend's clothes hamper while they were in college.
That's what it was. I knew someone on the board would remember.
That? So that had to be like in the 9. I mean, geez, oh man, that's been so long.
That was back in because he was from Miami as well. He was one of the Canes, right?
Yeah,
he went to the U. That tracks for someone from the U.
John says DK has a hot fiance. Does he really? I haven't seen her. I don't have any problem believing it. Corey says that John last year I read that the Ravens quarterbacks all won at 27 or 28 or something like that, and I said that on this show, and that prediction failed miserably. But the track record was there. But this is certainly something that's we talked about this during Aaron Rodgers' Super Bowl against us. We said, you know what, Bart Starr won it at 27, Brett Favre won it at 27, and that's why I didn't like that Super Bowl. But you know what, Aaron Rodgers did it as well. And if Jordan Love is turning 27 this year, Mike, maybe throw a couple of dollars on the Packers at this point and see what you can win at the end of the year if it happens. Again, it's hard to go against history sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's why I said sometimes.
I was agreeing.
Corey
I had nothing to add.
Has a good opportunity to have a 3-set. You know what? That's going to be something. We are going to get into the overs and unders here real soon, guys. To head into the weekend, and that is going to be part of it. Good catch, Corey. Also, John says Seattle will try to run the ball. So will the Steelers. Battle with the Wills. And the thing is, Seattle don't want to come out to 0-2. So yes, I mean they're going to bring it, guys. So this is going to be a good test for the Steelers. Yeah, yes, right. This is absolutely. Corey says, great. The injuries on defense always come heavy, and we pay for them heavily. Shaking my head.
Remember, it's Ryan's fault.
It is my fault. And then also Sticky B. What you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says, work out the kinks now before we start facing these better teams. This D is a proud bunch, and they got bailed out by the O last week. They do not want that to happen again. I would love to see all three fastest play good football on the same day. Just once. Can we have good offense, good defense, and good special teams on the same day? Is it possible?
No.
Finally, Mike, there were four, you know what? Also said by DK Metcalf. Now, I don't know about this, but just taking into consideration, guys, DK Metcalf says he feels that this offense could be scoring 50 points a game. Now, that's a crazy statement because it's a very difficult thing to do in the NFL.
Did he find Le'Veon's Bell's secret stash?
But these are the teams that are the elite teams, Mike. They have been able to put up 50 points the past few seasons. Look at your Buffaloes and even Detroit last year, and somebody else did. So, I mean, I think the way I take this is if you're able to put up 50 points, you certainly achieved the high level of elite teams in this league. And I don't know if they're there yet, but do you think that this team, again, 34 points last week, Mike? Let's say there's a team we don't match up good against. We go out there. Is it possible that this team could put up a 50-point game?
I mean,
Cincinnati, I guess it's possible, right? But
against Cincinnati would be a good game. That could be a shootout.
I just hope that they don't score 55. You know,
I know, right? That's the only thing right there. I don't know, like 40. I could see them doing 40, 45 in that range, but 50,
that's tough, man.
50 is a lot of fucking point. That's a lot of fucking touch. You have to score on every single drive.
And that's a case of teams just not being able to stop you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we're an offense that can't be stopped.
We saw
because of the offensive line, obviously.
Yeah, on the offensive line. Like we saw that touchdown to Skoranek. That thing would have been good from a lot longer than what it was. So like the play design from the small sample size that I saw, because that touchdown to Calvin Austin would have been good from a long drive too. And that touchdown to Jalen Warren was a nice design that should hit just about every time you run it. So yes, in theory, yes, but in practice, that O-line, no. 45 might be the tops this offense can score. All things considered.
And then finally, Mike, there's four Steelers among the 162 nominated senior players for the 2026 Hall of Fame class. These are the four Steelers that were nominated from the senior circuit, Mike.
Right.
LC Greenwood has been nominated. He could possibly be a Hall of Famer in 2026. Byron one of my childhood favorites. Byron Whizzer White. We're talking old timers now. And of course, former wide receiver coach Lionel Taylor. Mike, he was a receivers coach. But these four former Steelers are eligible and have been nominated to be eligible to be selected from the senior circuit, if you will, in next year's Hall of Fame. Like, I like some LC Greenwood. I like some Greg Lloyd, man. And again, I love to see any of these guys get in, Mike.
LC Greenwood, dominant beast back in the 70s. Read anything about how fucking dominant he was back there. But the thing is, though, there's so many Steelers in the Hall of Fame. There's so many guys. There's so many guys from those 70 teams, and so fucking what?
Because they were the only team that win 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. There should be a lot of them guys.
Yeah, I think the Bears and the Packers have more guys in, but it's never said when their players come up. But for the Steelers, there's too many in there. There's too many from that era. Yeah, that's a good thing for the NFL to show. Look how fucking weird and awesome and dominant this one team was in a decade, that they were able to get all these guys and to get all their egos in check to go towards common goal. And look, that's why their coach is here. That's why the owner is in here. That's why the GM, the scouts are in the Hall of Fame as well, because this team was so dominant in the 70s. They were the true first dynasty, because they won more than 2. Fuck you, Green Bay. They won 4 in 6 years. So yeah. No. LC Greenwood should have been in a long time ago.
There's no team that was before us in the Super Bowl era. You're right. That would trump what it was that the Steelers did. John says Normandy. She is wearing the Steelers shirt, singing "Come On, Ride the Float" in the new NFL commercial. You know what? And I found out, like, the Glorilla she's still a Steeler fan. I don't follow her on Twitter, on X, I'm sorry, but I did see her go down on my feed one day and it just said, let's go Steelers or something last week, and had black and yellow dots. So Glorilla, who I thought was here last year because of Justin Fields and Russell and Sierra and all this, Glorilla is still a big Steeler fan apparently. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, you gotta love it, man. A lot of people love our Steelers. Sticky B says as long as they get better each week, it should be a great season. I agree with you, man. What you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says 50 points is possible if the D is getting a few turnovers a game. But like you said, let's crawl before we walk. We gotta, you know what I mean. We gotta get a little bit better each week. Maybe a team will come along later in the year that's like the I don't know, the Raiders or somebody that's just not a good team. A lot of these AFC East teams, guys, we're gonna get the Dolphins. We're gonna get the team that Danny Dimes put up 33 points against last week, and so again, we're gonna get our opportunities. This game here, we just have to improve a little bit. We've got to improve on the offense and defensive lines. That should be the next step in moving forward for this football team. Corey Beaver says, I don't think I've heard you ask the over-under on this one before, but do you think Aaron Rodgers throws his first interception? And do you think it's a bad read or a tip ball? That's a good question because a couple throws could have been picked last week, and one of them was right to the guy's hands. So let's get to the over and under here in just 1 second. We'll touch on that here. Mr. Tommy, what's up? Great having Mr. Tommy back on the board. Always great seeing you on the terrible board, sir. He says, want to see an improved run game and a run defense this weekend. Those are the big ones, man. If we can improve those two, we're going to start looking really good. But my concern, as I said earlier in the show, it's the consistency. Are you going to be able to keep those two Band-Aids and turn them into long-term fixes? They can make moves and adjustments this week, but you got to remember, if you do better, the team we play next week is going to play off of what you just did this week. Yeah. So then you have to figure out how to go beyond. So it's the long-term consistent plan that scares me. I think they could fix it on a week-to-week basis. It's the long-term. Are we going to be able to have that offensive line play and the defensive line play in Buffalo? Are we going to have that play against the NFC North teams? Are we going to have that play against the Ravens, the Chargers, all these other good teams that are on the schedule this year? That's my concern. I think they could throw a Band-Aid on. I think they could fix what happened last week, and I think they could win this game. But again, can they do it for 16 more games? That's why they play, I guess, right?
Yep.
4 Super Bowls in 6 years. Mike is right, John said. Also, Corey says 50 points sounds cool, but let's get 40 first. Right.
Hey, yeah. I'd like that DK has the bar
I'm
set
cool
up
with the 34. I'm going to be honest.
I know. If this team could score 34 points a game, I don't think we're going to be in trouble. We'll
be in all right shape. And you got to remember, Patrick Mahomes' team last year did not score over 33 points all season in the regular season. Patrick Mahomes, games 1 through 17, he didn't score over 31. Then after the last game, I think he got 33. So he didn't score more than 33 points all season last year in the regular season. Mike, we scored 34 points last week.
Yeah, and that's the Andy Reid offense.
Well, I'm not going to talk shit on him and his offense because they're pretty damn. They've been doing.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like everyone, like I Andy Reid, the Patrick Mahomes offense. They did it once. Artie Smith and Aaron Rodgers already trumped them. Or already tied them in one game.
All right, we hear.
I got the receipts.
Vegas says 4 rings in 6 years, including 2 back-to-backs. Is why the Steel Curtain is the best D ever. Just not 1-year champ like the Bears or Ravens or the Buccaneers. I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong; those are great defenses.
Yeah.
But the Steel Curtain, come on, you can't.
And I think it was what the 76 defense might have been the best of the bunch, and they didn't win it because like Franco and Rocky and a couple other guys were hurt on offense.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's like they didn't allow anyone to score over 12 points or some shit when Bradshaw was hurt. Those defenses, even when they weren't winning Super Bowls, were just insane.
John says, imagine the Steeler fan base if they win 6 out of 4 years. Oh, yeah. I'd like to give it a shot, though. And then
I'm willing to see how obnoxious I can get.
And then finally, my bad. Vegas says Aaron at 48 holding up his 5th Lombardi would be crazy. Mike, we are going to get into the before we get into overs and unders, Mike, what is the key? What is the key for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this Sunday on the North Shore against the Seattle Seahawks?
Okay, without, it shouldn't be mentioned, O-line, D-line, right there. I don't want to see their run game take over because They have two effective running backs over there. But for me, the real key is going to be, can we shut down JSN and Cooper Cup? And I almost said Puka Nakua because
And you know what? With this
I
defense, Mike, this should be the best
It should-
opportunity
yeah.
that we've had in about 15 years to shut down a group like a pair like that.
Yeah. But that's predicated on, can that front
Right.
four, front five, whatever you want to call it, can they get the pressure on Sam Darnold so these guys don't have to cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds downfield? Because when that happens, that's when, I don't care who you are back there, that's when disaster strikes. Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, Mel Blunt in their prime can't cover someone for 7, 8 seconds back there. So really, the keys to the game: control the line of scrimmage. Until we get that fixed, those are my two big keys in every single game, is control both lines. Because once you do, you can do what you want on offense. You can do what you want on defense.
All right, good deal. Let's get into the overs and unders, guys. Here we go. Participate on the board if you'd like. Mike, here we go. Over and under for the home opener against the Seahawks, 1 o'clock Sunday, Eastern Standard Time at Acrisure Stadium. Here we go, guys. Mike, over or under? Aaron Rodgers, 2.5 touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers, 2.5 touchdown passes. Over or under?
Give me the over.
Going over on that one. Still feeling pretty good about last week.
I'm riding high in ayahuasca, brother.
All right. Steeler running game, Mike. 99.5 yards. Steeler running backs.
Steelers running backs, 99.5 yards.
Warren. Caleb. Gainwood. Steeler running back. Steeler running game. 99.5 yards. Over or under?
I'm going to take the under.
Going under on that. Corey and Sticky B. What you know about Sticky B? Sticky B got the over. Next one, guys. Roman Wilson, 1.5 catches. Roman Wilson, 1.5 catches. Over or under?
I will take the under.
All right. Sticky B saying lower. Corey's saying over. Steelers tight ends. Now, this is anybody from the room. Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington. Steelers tight ends this weekend, guys, against Seattle. 1/2 a touchdown. 1/2 of a touchdown by the Steelers tight end room.
Taking the over. How could you forget about Connor Hayward? How dare you, sir?
Caleb Johnson. 3.5 carries. Over or under? Last week asked if it was 4.5. You said, over. He'll run more. He ran once.
I know.
Negative yards. Guys, Caleb Johnson, 3.5 sacks. 3.5 carries for Caleb Johnson, the rookie.
I'm going to take the over. It's got to hit at some point.
The guy said both over on the tight end touchdowns. And then also the Roman Wilson, Mike, better be over or trade his ass, Sticky B says.
We're saving them for Tyreek Hill.
All right, guys, still on the offensive side of the ball here. Is our quarterback going to be sacked 3.5 times? Remember last week he was sacked 4, but it's supposed to be improving a little bit this week. We know we needed to work on. We worked on it. Aaron is even saying, I have faith in my tackle. I think things are going to be okay. Over or under, guys? We are sacked 3.5 times on Sunday.
I'm going to take the under.
Under, all right.
Bro, Joe, I'm putting my faith in you, brother.
All right.
Brodell.
Corey got over on the Caleb Johnson over-under. And then Richard got over on the Steelers. Vegas says Johnson won't do well until they change his Madden picture. You know what? How many times have I heard this? I think it was Vegas that brought that up last time too. I have not seen his Madden picture.
I gotta look it up because did they make it like a pasty white guy?
It's probably one of them generic faces, I'm guessing. But while he's doing that, I'm going to continue on the board. Corey says the scapegoat for a touchdown reception. Of course, that would be Connor Hayward. You know what? I will take it, right? And then Richard says under on Roman. Vegas says Aaron only got sacked 3 times after the first play of the game. That's true. And then Sticky B says under on the sacks. Corey's saying under. AR gets sacked twice. And then Richard says under on the running backs. Did you find that picture, Mike?
Yeah, they used the guard, Caleb Johnson, not the actual. Not, yeah, they used the wrong. They found a black guy named Caleb Johnson and
Wow.
put his picture on there.
So there you go. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. That's
I
wild,
would
man.
thought it'd be like because in the college game they were meant to, like, if you were a black guy you had a white guy picture, if you're a white guy you had a Hispanic guy as your picture. They had everything all jacked up, and I thought that's what happened on Madden, but no, he's the guard, Caleb Johnson.
Vegas says it's like some garbage man from a B movie.
That
Guys,
shit is great.
last one on the offense. I guess special teams you could call it. Over or under, fellas. Boz, 3.5 field goals made. Boz, 3.5 field goals made. Last week he had 2 field goals made. Of course, the 60-yard field goal to win the game. But there was a lot of touchdowns being scored though, so we didn't need it, Mike.
That's true.
Game, 3.5 field goals made by the Boz.
I am going to take
Player of the week, special teams
player of the week. Player of the week. I'm going to say under.
Okay.
I'll take the under because we're going to score 50 by getting touchdown, not by kicking threes.
Yeah. All right. That's the plan, right? That's what
the
DK
plan. Hey,
says.
and that's what DK says. And DK, I take him at his word.
Vegas says I'm taking Roman way over. He's saying he has 4 catches. 4 catches. I hope you're right. We have to see Roman at some point, right? He only missed his first whole rookie season, and again, no looks last week in the opener. So I at some point I would like to start seeing Roman Wilson involved.
If Roman Wilson needs to catch 10 balls out there, so we can trade him and a 7th to get Tyreek.
Oh yeah. Is that
we're playing 4th dimensional chess over here?
Vegas says under Aaron, it's all about throwing touchdowns. And I like that. Hey, you know what? As a Steeler fan who's been struggling at the quarterback position for quite a few years now, I like this idea. Corey says hopefully under for 2 field goals because we'll be scoring TDs. And Sticky B. What you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says Boz under because we'll be getting in the end zone. I love the optimism. Bullish on this offense this weekend. You gotta like it. It's kind of like a new feeling, like a reborn feeling, Mike, after what we've just gone through for the past 5 to 8 years or so, give or take. Guys, let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Mike, turnovers caused. We caused a turnover last week. We got the fumble on a kickoff. It was a big part of the game. Nice turning point for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, turnovers caused by the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, 1.5. 1.5 turnovers caused by the Steelers. It could be special teams. It could be defense, whatever. Turn the ball over 1.5 times, over or under.
I'm going to take the under.
Going under. All right. I'd like to see us get more just because we had one last week. If we could get like 2 this week, then we're kind of off to a good start. Say you had 1 last week and you don't have any turnovers this week, then you start saying, when are we going to start getting some turnovers, right?
Yeah, that's my thing right now. I think this defense is going to force a lot of 3-and-outs, but be very low in the turnover department. You know what I mean? We're going to stuff them on first, second, third down. And
just remember, this defense couldn't get off the field against the Jets. They didn't punt the ball until late in the game. You know,
I think they're going to button it up, tighten up. We don't have to worry about the zone read.
All right. On the board, real quick before we do move to the next one, Vegas says Roman was in the game on that last drive. He just didn't get targeted. And then he follows it up by saying 3 forced turnovers, 1 by a batted pass.
Ooh.
And then also Sticky B says over on the turnovers. And I do, going back to the question earlier, Aaron's first interception, I'm not sure. It could really be anything. As I said, the 2 that were almost picked last week went right to the guy. But you know what? That seems to always be our luck. A ball getting thrown, batted up in the air, and a safety or linebacker is just standing right there. So, it's hard to make that call. And I got to be honest, I hope we don't see that situation for a couple more weeks. If we could make it with as long as we can without turning the ball over, I feel great about that. But you know how that goes. Sticky B says over on the turnovers in Vegas says I hope we get a scoop and score and an interception to the house, and Aaron throws for 3 touchdowns. Then we might be talking 50 points.
Brother, you guys just got me excited. I got to go find a lot lizard after the show.
Mike, TJ Watt, a half sack.
Yeah, I'm taking the over
or under or a push. You could always be a push as well, but TJ does not have any at this point. Mike, Myles Garrett does have 2. I think TJ might be chomping at the bit to get a hold of that quarterback in this game.
Yeah.
A half a sack, you're saying?
Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross are their tackles. I know Cross was a top 5 pick in the draft.
So over?
And Lucas, I really don't know a whole hell of a lot about their tackles, brother. So fuck it, I'm taking the over.
All right, guys. Cam Hayward. I thought he looked terrible last week,
Clam.
but he had a good season last year.
He did. He can bounce back. He can sleep soundly now.
They said that these defense, Mike, is going to be a lot more improved. This is what they're saying. Cam is also saying this defense can be a lot more improved this week, Mike. Cam Hayward, 4.5 tackles. Over or under?
Ooh.
Or a push.
Damn. I'm taking a push on that one. I think that is doable for Cam. And I don't think they're going to be fall-on guys. I think I'm putting some faith in Cam. Because he can sleep soundly now, knowing he could potentially earn $3.6 million. Cam can sleep soundly. I think he's going to, 4.5 sounds doable.
All right. One more, guys. Final over or under. You know what it is. Run and hide under the bed. Lock the doors. Call the police, guys. It is time. The one thing that everyone hates, but we've been consistent on this show, Mike, and for 4 years.
You have.
And we've never taken this off the table. Guys, over or under 1/2 of a devastating injury. 1/2 of a devastating injury. We're talking about a starter being taken out for a significant period of time on an injury, somebody being knocked out for the season, a blown knee, anything that would be considered
stop. We know.
Anything that would be considered significant but devastating. Mike, 1/2 of a devastating injury this week in the opener at home. Is it going to happen or no?
No, I'm taking the under.
So it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I hope you're right. So there you go, guys. That is the over and under for the week heading into the Seattle Seahawks game. Again, opening up our home schedule on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at the Acrisure Stadium, guys. So it's here. Mike, we had all year for this moment. And then when it comes, it just goes so fast. I mean, here we are this time. A couple of days, it's going to be Monday. We're going to hopefully be celebrating Victory Monday. But this time next week, we're already getting ready to go into Game 3. So it just shows you this time of year goes really fast. Mike, also a couple things before we do start ready to wrap it up. We're rounding third right now. The Pitt Panthers, they do have the backyard brawl tomorrow at 3:30. West Virginia, they're ready. They lost to Ohio University, but Pitt's going to come down and hopefully try to make them 1-2 at the backyard brawl tomorrow. Villanova, they'll be traveling to Penn State to play. Both of those games are 3:30 starts. Our other football team here in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they'll be hosting Louisville City FC down at Highmark Stadium. That game is a 7 o'clock start tomorrow. And finally, the Bucks get swept. They get swept by the Orioles over the weekend. So they start a 3-game set at Washington with the Nationals, Mike. That one goes the whole way through the weekend. Game 1 starts today. It's 6:45. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2Yinzers.com. Check it out, Hey, if you're new here, check it out. All of Ryan and I's social media links are over there. They're on the YouTube page as well. Over at the merch store, we have our over on the website, we got our merch store, and we got Vanilla Thunder's Dumb Thoughts that get updated every Monday post-Steeler game. So check it out at the2Yinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of good stuff over there. www.the2Yinzers.com. That's www.the2Yinzers.com. Vegas says, I know one guy that loves WVU. He said they're going to get killed by Pitt. I think that he's right. I think that we got him this time. Going back down. They're saying they hope that our buses and airplanes fly in the buildings before we get there. They're being really nasty down there. But we're going to go down. That's because they know they're going to get their ass kicked this year.
Yeah.
And so that's, guys, I'm excited about that. 3:30 tomorrow. Also, Penn State 3:30 as well.
Hey, it's the Beanie Bishop revenge game for some of these Pitt guys. They're like I've heard some Pitt people on the radio saying, "Oh, they're going down there to win it, to shove it in Beanie Bishop's face." Like, shove it in the guy's face who's in the NFL. Oh,
we're not shoving it into the Steelers' face. We're shoving it into West Virginia's face, obviously.
Yeah. Guys, I love rivalries in college football, especially when I'm not a part of them. Watching from the outside in is great.
And then also, guys, another thing, keep your eye on these two games this weekend because we do have the Ravens versus the Browns, which is going to play a part in our division. And, Mike, the Jaguars, they will be playing the Bengals. So a couple games to keep our eye on from within the division. Again, Thursday Night Football started the week last night with a Green Bay win over Washington, 27-18. Mike, and it looked like everybody everybody on this CBS picks did win that first game. With the exception of myself. I was busy up to the moment and I didn't get in at the right time. However, I did get on. I got the rest of my picks made. But everybody, I do want to say everybody on the CBS picks did hit by picking Green Bay last night. And if you haven't yet, go sign up. Mike will put the link right on the terrible board, or you could go just right outside on the YouTube page itself. And there's a link there. It's free. It takes 30 seconds. Enter your information and pick your teams, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got about 10 guys from the board that do participate now. And I got to be honest, they're doing very well. Richard led the way last week, Mike, winning 14 out of 16 games. So go do that. Guys, we are going to get into the trivia question of the day. This is no different than any other day that we're in football season. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, thinking caps as well. Everybody at home, here we go. Question of the day. Last Seattle Seahawk question of the week. Here we go. What's up, Jamal? Great seeing you, my brother.
What up, Jamal?
Question of the day. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. In 5 games against Seattle, what is Mike Tomlin's record? Mike coached the Steelers against the Seattle Seahawks 5 times as the Steelers head coach. What is Mike Tomlin's record against Seattle? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on the Tube.
Oh, Tube.
Great seeing you, Jamal. Always awesome having you, sir. Again, guys, question of the day. In 5 games against Seattle, what is Mike Tomlin's record against the Seahawks? What's your thought process, Mike? You leaning toward any number? Or,
I'm leaning towards a losing record because I know we lost to them 2 years ago whenever they came here.
You got to remember too. This goes back. Tomlin came into what 08, 09. So
I know. But traveling out west, historically Tomlin and historically the Steelers traveling out west don't do too well.
All right.
Do you want a number or is it just a win-loss?
Yeah, a win-loss. Like John has 3-2, Vegas has 4-1, like a record. I'm
gonna go 1-4 or 1-3.
1-3 out of 5 games.
Oh, 1-4. I'm sorry, I forgot how many you said. I started talking, I forgot the numbers just ran away.
So 1 win is where you're going.
Yeah, I'm going 1-4.
All right. You sure that's your final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
All right. Richard is saying 3-2. John is saying 3-2. Vegas says I'm going 4-1. The lone loss being the game the wide receiver had over 200 yards. I remember that. Guys, and Mike, you say 1. Again, I'll give it another second on the board, guys, if you want to throw an answer or guess up. In the 5 games against Seattle, what is Mike Tomlin's record? The question of the day, a couple different answers on the board, and between what Mike said. All right, here we go. In 5 games against Seattle, what is Mike Tomlin's record against the Seahawks? The final answer to this, guys, Mike Tomlin's record against the Seahawks in his career as being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, is 3-2.
Oh, shit.
3-2. Yeah, he did pretty well. We had that 24-0 win way back. Remember, I think it was like his first time against Seattle. I think it was like a 24-0. And then I think we got a couple more. But the answer to that, guys, is a 3-2 record is what Mike Tomlin's record is. Corey Beavers is also saying 3-2. We beat him 21-0. Was that 21-0 or was that 24? It might have been 24-0. I'm thinking. But we're right on the same page. I think it was the same season. Lost in 13-14. Beat him in 2023. Corey, yeah, he's on top of him, man. I didn't know down to them details, but that sounds right to me. Vegas says west of the Mississippi all-time record is poor. You're right. You generally play well out west. We can play the worst teams. It seems like, Mike, like the time that Richard Seymour punched Ben in the throat out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
When we played the Raiders out there, it doesn't gel well for Steelers out west.
It's like I think last year when we went out and beat the Raiders in Vegas, like holy shit, we won one out west.
Out there. I know it's crazy.
Like, it's few and far between, unless if we're going to play like the Chargers when they were bad, we've taken over their stadium and shit like that.
Yeah. Also, guys, before we do get ready to wrap things up, don't forget right here on the Two Dumb Yinzer Network, you could come by on Sunday night and check out Derpy. I think we're going to run his nerd show. That's going to be 9:00 on Sunday. Also, Sunday after the game, it's still in the works. I know Finch is really pushing to get the Sunday night show rolling, and it's close. And hopefully they could be up and running Sunday after the game. So keep your eye open on that. So possibly the the Sunday evening show with Finch, also Derpy's Nerd Show, and then tonight the Three Gooners with Finch, Tim, and Ryan. Check them out tonight, 9:30, right here on the Two Dumb Yinzers Network. I'm always interested to see what they're saying. They always got something wild going on. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap it up, man? Any final words on what you want, what you hope, and what we might see from the Acrisure Stadium on Sunday afternoon?
I want to see, like I said, I want to see improvement from the D-line and the O-line. I'm not looking for night and day improvement. That's too much to ask for, but I want to see improvement to where, hey, we're gaining more than 2.5 yards. You know,
get us around, the whole way down the field on defense. I mean, that was insane, Mike.
Yeah. I want to see some more consistency from those two units right there. Because everything, you know, we've been saying it all off season. I'm going to say it all season long. Those two units are the key to this team.
And you know what? Those
they allow
everyone are the things that we're struggling with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
and they're the things, you know. Yeah, the O-line, D-line. There are a lot of young players on there, so I'm hoping they, you know, get on the moving train and just hold on, boys, and get up to speed, because that's the units that we need, and that's where. You know, they are the youngest units. That's where we've invested a lot of draft capital, but they need to grow up quick and find their place in the NFL for this team to go where they want to go, because they went out and we brought in a lot of reinforcements via free agency and skill positions that we needed to fill, because we addressed the lines in the draft. So they got to hold up their end of the bargain, because if they even just like half of what we want them to do, this team can go far.
All right, guys, I do want to say there is an update. I asked the terrible board the other day, would you be interested? Would you be interested in having Sassy Cassie, the world's smallest stripper, on the show? And I got a pretty positive feedback. So it's done, guys. Not this coming up week, but the week after we play New England early in the week. We will have the world's smallest stripper right here on the Two Dumb Yinzers. She'll be back. She joined us in our first season a little over 4 years ago, and Mike, she's going to be back. And when I talked to her to set things, get things settled, she asked if she could bring some of her teammates from. Again, she's in Pittsburgh doing work, doing the stripping. So there are going to be a variety of miniature chicks right here, and Sassy Cassie leading the way again. It's the shortest, smallest stripper on the planet, 2'10". 2'10". In the Guinness Book of World Records and everywhere else. Look her up, guys. Check her out. She will be on not this coming week, but the following week. Sassee, Cassee, Sassy Cassie. Check her out. She will be on, like I said, about 10 days from now, give or take. So I'm excited about that. As they do come to Pittsburgh, Mike, they'll be down in Washington doing their show. We'll have her on. Guys, I can't wait to talk to her again. It's been quite some time. I think you guys will like her. And again, they're going to be coming in numbers. So all kind of little chicks running around. I don't know. Who knows what it's going to be like. But she is going to be bringing her team, some friends. So Sassy Cassie, guys, not next week, but the week after. I also do want to say this. If you haven't had a chance to go check out on any of our social media sites, we are all over social media. You could go to Facebook, you could go to X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Find us anywhere, guys. Hit the follow button and keep up with the Two Dumb Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. Gooners tonight, Derpy Sunday. Let me grab a couple of these messages, Mike. I don't want to leave anybody hanging before we go. Is Derpy banned from that live? I want him to be, believe me. But you know what? He might.
I vote yes. We got to ban Derpy because you don't know what he's going to do.
He says for legal reasons. I wanted him to have him sing. You know, when he sings, it's kind of a funny thing here on the show. I would love to have him sing to the midgets, of course, the strippers, the girls. But we'll see. Mike is already voting him out. Jamal says, what up? She coming on here? I just told her she is. We had her on years ago. Matter of fact, when we was in our first season, we met her. We reached out to her. We kept in touch somewhat. And I said, if you ever come to Pittsburgh, Cassie, we're going to have you on. And I saw that they were coming to Washington here in about 10 days. And then also they're coming back to Jurgles in November up in Wexford, guys. So she will be right here on the show with her friends, guys. The smallest stripper in the world, 2'10". Sassy Cassie will be here. So don't forget to check that out. We'll talk about it more next week as we start to wrap up the week. Let me grab a couple of these messages. Corey definitely has a good memory on the series with Seattle. A lot of stats and numbers and facts that he does have. Vegas was thinking about Brandon Wheaton going over the 200 mark yard in the loss. See chicken fans bring up the obvious OPI or the wide receivers, the refs cheating them in the Super Bowl. Yeah, listen, that team they just weren't good enough to beat us in that Super Bowl. They weren't that good.
No, and Ben, that was like Ben's worst game that entire year, and they still couldn't win.
I mean, if you could have stopped Willie Parker from running 75 yards on the first play of the second half, they just weren't good enough. Screw them. Also, Vegas says she's the size of the little doll in my mom's jewelry box. She's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I think you're all going to love her. So like I said, we'll certainly continue to talk about that next week as we get a little closer. John, no problem, brother. Thank you. Derpy needs to sign a waiver, is what Vegas is saying. And one dancer is Austin in drag.
Poor CA3.
So, guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. But in the meantime, we got a big game this weekend against the Steelers, guys, opening up the home schedule Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time down on the North Shore, Acrisure Stadium, formerly known as Heinz Field. Guys, I do want to say this also. If you haven't had a chance, hit the like, hit the sub, or hit the share button down below. It helps us out greatly. We appreciate that. Mike, anything else, brother, before we take off for the weekend? It's game time, sir.
It is game time. I'm sorry to bust in with a little Penguin news, but if there are any Penguin fans out there, Marc-Andre Fleury is signing like a pro tryout contract with the Penguins, who practice and play a little bit of a preseason game to wrap up his professional career. Nice little button on his career here in Pittsburgh.
So he's signing as a Penguin to retire?
Yeah, yep. He's going to play. He's going to play in part of a preseason game.
That's awesome.
And that's it. Yeah, I saw it on social media before we came on. The Penguins had it out and everything. He's showing him signing his recreating his rookie signing contract with this contract, but he has the 3 Stanley Cup mini trophies with 3 rings on, and he's signing the contract.
I'm glad.
I like it.
Like, I'm glad he's coming to Pittsburgh to retire. That's fantastic. He doesn't. He deserves to be the Penguin when he retires.
Yeah.
Even though he went and did great things beyond here, he should be a Pittsburgh Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So
he'll retire. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He'll practice on the 26th and play parts of the preseason game on the 27th, and that will be the end of his career. I like that better than this. Oh, I'm signing a 1-day contract here in the office. That's it. No, gets to go out there, play with some of the guys, play with some of the rookies. I think that's kind of cool.
Vegas says I used to wear a Lemieux sweater jersey to back to school. School back. I did too.
Hell yeah, brother. Same here. Lemieux and Yager.
And then Vegas also said Cassie's. Yes, it's Cassee. Her stage name is spelled that way. It's Sassy Cassie, Sassee Cassee. So check her out. She will be on real soon, guys. Again, this is Steeler Friday, getting ready for the big game. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I want to say thank you so much to everybody for coming and hanging out with us today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. I want to say thank you, everybody on the terrible board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home, maybe on your phone, maybe in the gym, maybe your earbuds, or just watching on your big screen TV. Thank you, too. We'll be back first thing Monday, hopefully for Victory Monday, to go over everything that we see Sunday afternoon at the North Shore, guys. And we hope that everybody can meet us back here then to do so. I hope everyone has a safe weekend, enjoys themselves. You're getting down to the stadium, be safe. I mean, it's a crazy world out there anymore. If you're staying home, going to a party, drinking, and got to get to place, be careful that way as too. We like to see everybody back on Monday. Mike, anything before we wrap it up? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Here we go, Steelers, baby. Here we go.
Here we go. I'm looking at a 2-0, guys. I got a feeling. Again, thank you so much. You guys are always so awesome on the board. You guys enjoy the game. Again, stay safe. We'll be back Monday. Go over that and everything else that happens throughout the weekend. I can't wait. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio. For myself, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Go Steelers. Bye-bye.